Introduction. Glaucoma and age-related macular degeneration, AMD, are two eye diseases that cause vision loss, especially in older adults. While antioxidant vitamins and minerals, like vitamins A, C, E, zinc, and selenium, have a well-established role in slowing AMD, patients often wonder if they can also help with glaucoma. In AMD, studies found that a specific combination of vitamins C and E, beta-carotene, a form of vitamin A, and zinc significantly slowed disease progression. These findings from the landmark AREDS and AREDS2 trials have led many eye doctors to recommend these supplements for certain patients at risk of late-stage AMD. In contrast, the evidence in glaucoma is sparse and mixed. No large clinical trial has proven that taking antioxidant pills improves glaucoma outcomes. Instead, research so far relies on observational studies, surveying people's diets and blood tests, and a few small trials. These suggest possible links, but are far from conclusive. In fact, some studies hint that too much of certain supplements may even be harmful. Given this uncertainty, eye health experts generally encourage a food-first approach, getting these nutrients from a balanced diet rather than high-dose pills, while we await better clinical trials for glaucoma. This article reviews what we know about vitamins A, C, E, zinc, and selenium in glaucoma, compares it with the AMD evidence, and gives practical dietary advice. Antioxidants in AMD versus glaucoma, the evidence gap. Strong evidence for AMD, AREDS. Age-related macular degeneration is driven in part by oxidative damage in the retina. Landmark randomized trials, the Age-Related Eye Disease Study, or AREDS, and its follow-up AREDS2, found that high-dose supplements of vitamin C, 500 milligrams, vitamin E, 400 IU, beta-carotene, 15 milligrams, a form of vitamin A, and zinc, 80 milligrams, with copper reduced the risk of advanced AMD by about 25% over 5 years. These studies provide strong, proven benefits. For this reason, many ophthalmologists recommend this specific supplement regimen for patients at high risk of late-stage AMD with moderate AMD in at least one eye. Notably, the AREDS2 trial later replaced beta-carotene with lutein and zeaxanthin to avoid lung cancer risk in smokers, but reinforced the idea: nutrients can slow AMD progression. Because of the clear success in AMD, patients often assume similar nutrients might help other eye diseases like glaucoma. However, glaucoma has a different pathology, damage to the optic nerve from pressure or blood flow issues, and the clinical trials of antioxidants are far fewer. No large trials have tested AREDS-style vitamins for glaucoma, so we must rely on smaller studies and indirect evidence. Limited and mixed data for glaucoma. So far, antioxidant vitamins have no established role in standard glaucoma treatment. Eye doctors primarily focus on lowering eye pressure, the only proven treatment, through drops, lasers, or surgery. Still, some research suggests oxidative stress may contribute to nerve damage in glaucoma, so antioxidants are biologically plausible. Unfortunately, the human data are conflicting. Observational studies, diet surveys, and blood tests have found some interesting associations, described below, but these cannot prove cause and effect. Interventional trials of antioxidants in glaucoma are mostly small or use mixed antioxidant cocktails, often nutritional supplements or plant extracts, making it hard to pin down any specific vitamin's effect. A recent meta-analysis of such trials reported modest benefits. Antioxidant supplements as a group lowered eye pressure and slowed visual field loss. However, the studies included many different substances, e.g. ginkgo, saffron, CoQ10, vitamin E, etc., rather than isolating vitamins A, C, E, or zinc, selenium. Thus, we cannot conclude that taking extra vitamins will reliably help an individual's glaucoma. We do note it shows it is safe, no major side effects were reported, and it suggests benefits are possible. In summary, macular degeneration has robust evidence for vitamins A, C, E, and zinc from large trials, whereas glaucoma does not. Until new trials are done, recommendations for glaucoma must be guarded. Observational studies of diet and blood levels. Researchers have looked at people's diets, supplement use, and blood tests to see if antioxidant levels correlate with glaucoma risk or severity. These studies can hint at possible links, but they cannot prove that taking vitamins will change glaucoma. Key findings include dietary antioxidants. A recent analysis of U.S. National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey data, 2005 to 2008, found that people with higher overall dietary antioxidant scores, based on intake of vitamins A, C, E, zinc, selenium, and magnesium, had slightly lower odds of having glaucoma. In concrete terms, for every unit increase in this antioxidant index, the odds of self-reported glaucoma went down by about 5 to 6%. When divided into low, medium, high antioxidant groups, those in the highest group had a significantly lower prevalence of glaucoma. This suggests diets rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, which contain many antioxidants, might help reduce glaucoma risk. However, self-reported glaucoma may include some false diagnoses, and this study could not confirm glaucoma clinically or measure eye pressures. It simply shows an association, not proof of benefit. Specific nutrients, diet supplements, a population study of U.S. adults based on NANES 2005-2006 looked at vitamins A, C, and E specifically. They asked people about supplement use and measured blood levels. They found that those in the highest category of vitamin C supplements had about half the odds of glaucoma compared to non-users, adjusted odds ratio by 0.47. In other words, vitamin C use was linked to lower glaucoma prevalence. In contrast, high-dose vitamin A supplements did not show a clear benefit, odds ratio per 0.48, but with a wide confidence interval. Vitamin E supplement use appeared to be associated with higher odds of glaucoma, OR 2.6, but this was not statistically significant due to small numbers. Importantly, actual blood levels of vitamins A, C, and E did not correlate with glaucoma status. This could mean that diet supplement patterns, rather than just blood levels at one point, matter, or that the results are due to other factors we can't account for. The takeaway: vitamin C supplements were linked to lower glaucoma occurrence, but blood levels of these vitamins were not clearly linked. Zinc and selenium. A 2024 Polish study measured blood levels of selenium and zinc in glaucoma patients versus healthy controls. It found that people with glaucoma had significantly lower blood selenium and zinc levels for both men and women. In fact, a larger percentage of glaucoma patients had below normal selenium levels compared to controls. The authors suggest low selenium and zinc might be linked to glaucoma. Conversely, an earlier U.S. study looked at dietary selenium intake, again using NANES 2005-2008, and found that women with higher selenium intake actually had a higher risk of glaucoma. In that analysis, each increase in dietary selenium was associated with about a 39% higher odds of glaucoma. This is a surprising finding and suggests that excess selenium might be harmful in glaucoma, though we don't have a clear explanation yet. Vitamin A observations. Lower levels of vitamin A, retinol, have been noted in some glaucoma patients. A small German pilot study found that normal tension glaucoma patients had significantly lower vitamin A in their blood than people without glaucoma. Also, the Polish study of selenium mentioned just now noted that men with glaucoma had lower vitamin A intake, but that was more minor. Antioxidant capacity and disease severity. Some research has looked not at specific nutrients but overall antioxidant status. In one study of POEG patients, scientists measured biological antioxidant potential, BAP, in the blood. They found that lower antioxidant capacity, lower BAP-P, was significantly associated with worse visual field loss on glaucoma tests. This suggests that patients with weaker systemic antioxidant defenses tended to have more advanced glaucoma. Another analysis showed that patients in the worst visual field category had lower uric acid levels. Uric acid is an antioxidant than those with milder disease. These findings hint that a strong antioxidant system might slow glaucoma, but again, they don't prove taking supplements will help. Diet and eye pressure. Some creative nutritional studies have looked at IOP itself. For example, diets high in leafy green vegetables, rich in nitrates and antioxidants, were linked to a lower frequency of high eye pressure. The idea is that nitrates can improve blood flow and help drain fluid. However, this effect is likely very modest. No direct link has been shown between, say, vitamin C intake and average IOP in populations. In summary, observational data suggest diets rich in antioxidants, fruits, vegetables, whole grains may correlate with lower glaucoma risk or severity. Low blood levels of zinc, selenium, or vitamin C/E have been reported in some glaucoma groups. However, these studies cannot prove that taking extra vitamins will prevent or treat glaucoma. Many factors, genes, overall health, other nutrients, could influence these associations. Supplements versus food. Caution about high doses. Some patients wonder if taking high-dose vitamin pills might help flood the eye with protection. However, more is not always better, and in some cases, it can be harmful. Here are key cautions regarding antioxidant supplements. Vitamin A, beta-carotene. High doses of vitamin A compounds can be toxic. Very high vitamin A, retinol, can cause nausea, liver damage, increased brain pressure, and birth defects. In smokers, high-dose beta-carotene supplements were shown to increase lung cancer risk. Indeed, the large AMD trial, AREDS-2, stopped giving beta-carotene to smokers after finding a significant rise in lung cancer cases. Nowadays, lutein, zeaxanthin are used instead of beta-carotene in smokers. So if a person does not have a true vitamin A deficiency, taking extra pills is not advised. Foods rich in pro-vitamin A, like carrots or spinach, are safe and healthy in normal amounts. Vitamin E. Very high doses of vitamin E have been linked to health risks. A large meta-analysis combining many trials found that taking antioxidant levels of vitamin E supplements significantly increased hemorrhagic stroke risk by about 22%, even though total stroke risk did not change. In other words, excessive vitamin E can cause bleeding in the brain. The AREDS study used 400 IU of vitamin E safely for AMD, but that was alone often with C and beta-carotene. In general, doses above the recommended upper limit, around 1,000 IU per day, are not advised without a doctor's supervision. Vitamin C. High doses, several grams per day, of vitamin C are generally safer but can cause kidney stones or diarrhea in some people. However, one Haines study did find that vitamin C supplement use was associated with lower odds of glaucoma. Still, any recommendation to take large amounts of C would require more evidence from a trial. For now, vitamin C is better obtained from fruits and vegetables. Zinc. The AREDS formula used a high dose of zinc, 80 milligrams per day, along with copper to prevent anemia, and it was generally well tolerated in elderly AMD patients. However, very high zinc, hundreds of milligrams over long periods, can cause problems: stomach upset, reduced immune function, and copper deficiency, leading to anemia and nerve problems. For example, chronic zinc poisoning mainly shows up as low copper in the body. The safe upper limit for zinc is around 40 milligrams per day in healthy adults for long-term use. If anyone takes high-dose zinc, e.g. in multiple cold remedies plus eye supplements, monitoring for copper deficiency may be needed. Selenium. Selenium supplements can be a hidden risk. The recommended dietary intake is about 55 micrograms per day for adults. While selenium is an antioxidant mineral, it has a narrow, safe range. Doses above 200 micrograms per day can lead to selenosis, symptoms like nail brittleness, hair loss, subtle nerve damage. Amazingly, a 2024 study found that women with higher selenium intake actually had higher glaucoma risk, possibly hinting that too much selenium is adverse. Medical reports of selenium toxicity describe serious effects if someone accidentally takes milligram doses of selenium. Thus, supplementing selenium above typical multivitamin amounts is not recommended, especially for patients at risk of diseases like glaucoma. In short, megadoses of antioxidants should be approached with caution. The "are you getting enough" concept is different from "is more better." Getting antioxidants from food rarely causes overdose, whereas pills can. A food-first strategy, nutrient-dense meals. Given the uncertainty with supplements, a food-first approach is safest and healthiest. Whole foods contain a balanced mix of antioxidants plus many other beneficial nutrients, fiber, phytonutrients, healthy fats, that work together. Here are practical tips and meal ideas to boost the intake of vitamins A, Ce, zinc, and selenium naturally. Bright fruits and vegetables. These are rich in vitamins A, as beta-carotene and other carotenoids, and C. For example, a salad of kale or spinach, high in preformed vitamin A, retinol, carrots or sweet potatoes, packed with beta-carotene, and bell peppers, vitamin C, with a citrus dressing is a great choice. Berries, kiwi, oranges, and pineapple make easy snacks or dessert deliveries of vitamin C. Tomatoes, vitamin C, and other antioxidants can be topped with a drizzle of olive oil. Vitamin E helps absorb pigment antioxidants. Vitamin E sources. Foods high in vitamin E include nuts and seeds, almonds, sunflower seeds, hazelnuts, vegetable oils, wheat germ oil, sunflower oil, and leafy greens. Try adding a handful of almonds to breakfast cereal, snacking on pumpkin seeds, or using wheat germ-enriched bread. A spinach salad with sunflower seeds and avocado yields E along with lutein zeaxanthin, also good for eyes. Zinc-rich foods. Zinc is present in meats, beef, lamb, shellfish, especially oysters, eggs, and plant foods like legumes, chickpeas, lentils, beans, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. Including a portion of fish or chicken with every meal, or adding beans to soups and salads can bump up zinc intake. For example, a lentil and vegetable stew with a side of quinoa, a zinc-containing grain, is a nutrient-dense dinner. Selenium sources in moderation. Brazil nuts are famously rich in selenium. Even 1 or 2 nuts can meet your daily need of 55 milligrams. A few Brazil nuts in your trail mix or chopped over yogurt delivers selenium and healthy fats. Other selenium sources include seafood, tuna, shrimp, meats, and whole grains. Just remember, selenium stores in the body, so it's easy to meet needs without mega doses of nuts or supplements. Balanced meals. Build each meal around a variety of colors. For example, breakfast could be oatmeal, whole grain, topped with blueberries and chopped almonds, vitamin E, manganese. Lunch might be a grilled salmon salad. Salmon, protein, selenium, a bit of A in the liver, mixed greens, cherry tomatoes, slices of orange, and sunflower seeds. Dinner might feature roasted chicken or chickpeas with sweet potatoes and steamed broccoli. Use herbs like parsley, vitamin C, and spices like turmeric or oregano, antioxidant polyphenols, for extra benefit. Here's a sample nutrient-rich daily menu emphasizing these antioxidants. Breakfast, spinach and mushroom omelet. Eggs provide protein and selenium. Spinach high in lutein vitamin A with bell pepper slices plus a cup of berries or orange juice, vitamin C. Lunch, lentil soup. Lentils supply zinc and some carotenoids, topped with lemon juice. Side salad of lettuce, carrot, cucumber with olive oil, vitamin E. Dressing and walnuts, E, zinc. Snack, handful of Brazil nuts and almonds, or carrot sticks with hummus. Dinner, baked salmon, selenium, omega-3 fats, or grilled lean steak, zinc, served with quinoa and steamed broccoli, drizzled with olive oil, and a salad with kale, carrot, orange slices. Dessert, kiwi or pineapple with a sprinkle of chia seeds, omega-3s, some minerals. These meals naturally combine multiple nutrients. Patients can often find recipes by searching terms like heart-healthy antioxidant meals or Mediterranean diet for eyes. There's no single glaucoma diet, but a general healthy diet, like the Mediterranean or DASH diet, is also rich in these vitamins and minerals. Future directions. Needs for clinical trials. Despite suggestive clues, glaucoma science still needs rigorous trials to test whether antioxidant strategies actually change outcomes. Priority areas include dietary patterns versus supplements. Most existing studies look at supplements or nutrient scores, but altering one's whole diet could have broader benefit. We need randomized trials assigning patients to an antioxidant-rich diet, for example, more leafy greens, fruits, nuts, less processed food, versus usual diet, then tracking glaucoma progression, optic nerve imaging, visual field. Such trials would test if a food-first intervention can slow nerve damage over years. Specific supplements. If researchers want to isolate effects, they could do RCTs of particular supplements in glaucoma patients. For instance, a trial might give one group vitamin C, say 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day, and a control group placebo, and follow both for changes in visual field or eye pressure. Similar trials could test vitamin E, or a combination of ACE or zinc. Any trial should use doses that are high enough to potentially have an effect, but within safe limits. For example, zinc around 40 to 50 milligrams, vitamin E under 1,000 IU. The key outcomes would be changes in visual field tests, optic nerve imaging, like retinal nerve fiber layer thickness or glaucoma progression rates. Intraocular pressure should also be measured if possible, though most likely pressure doesn't change from vitamins. Early glaucoma or high-risk eyes. The best setting for trials is probably people with early glaucoma or ocular hypertension, high eye pressure without damage. This is analogous to early AMD in the AREDS trial. If antioxidants do work, intervening early should show an effect on slowing future damage. Trials might also focus on high-risk patients, family history, or genetic risk factors to see if antioxidants can delay onset. Combining antioxidants, some studies have suggested synergy. Vitamin C regenerates oxidized E, etc. Trials could compare single nutrients versus combinations. For example, comparing vitamin C alone versus vitamin E alone versus both together could identify if any synergy exists for glaucoma. Biomarker studies. Before large trials, smaller studies could measure if taking supplements actually raises antioxidants in the eye or blood and reduces oxidative markers. This would validate whether a given dose reaches its target. Safety and genetics. Trials should monitor for side effects, especially in older patients who may be on multiple medications. Genetic factors might influence who benefits from antioxidants. Future research could look at genetic profiles or eye imaging features, like blood flow measures, that predict response. In summary, glaucoma remains a candidate for nutritional intervention but lacks definitive proof. Well-designed clinical trials, akin to AREDS in AMD, are the missing piece. Until then, the best advice is a healthy diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole foods, rather than relying on unproven high-dose pills. Conclusion: antioxidant vitamins and minerals are a proven therapy in macular degeneration, but for glaucoma, the picture is much less clear. Current research is mainly observational or animal-based, with only a few small clinical trials. Some studies hint that diets high in antioxidants may lower glaucoma risk, and that glaucoma patients often have lower blood levels of zinc, selenium, or vitamin C. However, randomized trials specifically testing A, C, zinc, or selenium in glaucoma are still needed. Patients should be cautious with megadoses of supplements. More better is not guaranteed and can carry risks, e.g. beta-carotene and lung cancer in smokers, high vitamin E and stroke, too much zinc causing copper deficiency. Instead, a food-first approach is recommended. Ample evidence shows that diets rich in fruits, vegetables, nuts, and whole grains provide antioxidants that support eye health. A balanced diet supplies vitamins A, C, and E, as well as natural sources of zinc and selenium, without the dangers of high-dose pills. Patients should enjoy colorful meals like leafy green salads with nuts, lean proteins with veggies, and fruits as snacks. Ultimately, like any supplement, antioxidants should be one part of an overall eye-healthy lifestyle. Regular exams, controlling eye pressure, and general health. With such a diet and standard glaucoma care, patients can maximize their chances of preserving vision until and if new research confirms any additional benefit from specific supplements. Future research should focus on clinical trials that can truly answer whether adding antioxidants changes glaucoma outcomes. Until then, emphasis on a nutritious diet remains the safest, most practical strategy for patients. All links to sources are available in the text version of this article. You can find the full article at visualfieldtest.com. Thanks for listening. To check your visual field, click the link at the bottom of this article or visit visualfieldtest.com.